Before I get started, I'd like to thank some people. I'd like to thank Dr. Azar, of course, and the trauma staff at St. Mary's. My wife's done a great job taking care of me, and she understands my passion for surfing, and she accepts it the way I do. And the risks are there, and we know what's happening with the ocean. We know sharks live there, and it's part of their world, and I'm just visiting their world. And I accept those the things that go along with it, and I'm grateful that I'm here. I think so. I guess you want the story of what happened is Sunday evening, about 5 o'clock. We got in the water, me and three friends, who I'd like to thank as well: Chris Burke, David Brown, are with me, and we surfed. I surfed for maybe 15 minutes, caught a few waves. The wave I caught took me into maybe 100 yards off the beach. It wasn't very deep, maybe 6 feet deep, and I had fallen off, or I wiped out, and I was getting back up on my board, and my arms were over the board, and the water was about this deep, and I was kicking to get back up on my board. I thought I kicked a rock or something, and all of a sudden there was, the bite, and 2 seconds later it was done. It bit me. I either pulled my leg away or it let go, and I knew right away what happened. I knew it was a bite, and I yelled "shark bite" to my friends, and David said, "What?" And I said, "Shark bite." And I just started paddling to the shore. I didn't look back. I didn't want to look at it. I didn't want to see what it looked like. I didn't want to pass out or something because of the blood and the mess. And so I paddled in, and my friends came in with me, and then I looked down and saw the bloody mess, and they were like, "Whoa, we got to get you out of here." And so my friend Chris actually piggybacked beach and over the dune, and of course he had just had a knee surgery not long ago, and I'm like, "Chris, you shouldn't be carrying me." And he's like, "I'm carrying you." And so we carried me up. We came out onto North Beach Road, and waiting there was a guy with a towel and water and gauze, and I was like, "What's going on here?" And he said, "Hi, we saw this going on. We saw the chaos happening," and he was an off-duty firefighter named Kyle Davison from Boynton Beach, and he had everything set up, and I laid down on the road, and he washed it out and wrapped it in gauze, and kind of waited. That his partner, and I got to thank Kyle and his partner, because they were instrumental in just keeping me calm. And for some reason I was calm. I wasn't freaking out or anything. I kind of was accepting what was going on. And so we were waiting there. Kyle's partner had called the emergency services, and so Martin County firefighters arrived. In the meantime, people were walking along North Beach, strolling with their dogs, or a friend came by that I knew in his car with his wife, Kevin Mackey and his wife, and then eventually, it wasn't long that the firefighters arrived, and they kind of decided to come down here, and they put me in the ambulance, and I passed out apparently in the ambulance. I think my blood pressure dropped, and it kind of freaked out those guys a little bit. Sorry. So ambulance ride down here arrived. Dr. Azar and his team were here. They were all did a great job kind of keeping me calm, and started looking at the foot, and I didn't see the shark, because I know people have asked as well. I didn't see the shark. I don't know what kind of shark it was. I have a friend who's a wildlife photographer and an ocean photographer, Jeff Beige, and he has seen a lot of black tips around, and so that was a guess, but nobody know if you could tell by the bite or anything, but so when I got here, and Dr. Azar can elaborate more, it was mostly kind of cleaning it up and looking at it and assessing all the damage, and so they decided to put me under, and I woke up and Jane was here the whole time, and that night, probably, I don't know, 9:30 or something, we were I was out, and was told that we were cleaned up, had stitches, and so that was Sunday evening. I was in the hospital Monday, and then on Tuesday they did a second operation to clean it again and add some more stitches to it. And then Wednesday afternoon I was released, and home since until I came back today and got some more information. And Dr. Azar can give you some more information about that.
You said you knew kind of what was going on when you got bit, but what was going through your head?
I got bit by a shark. I wasn't like freaking out like, oh, what's gonna happen? I wasn't like elevated in like hyper or anything. I just kind of knew it and accepted. Because I've surfed for a long time. I've surfed for 35 years, so I played it in my head maybe again, before, that this can happen. And so I kind of knew a little bit. Maybe I kind of knew what to do because I had played it in my head. It's, they're we know they're there, and we see them. I surfed that morning. I saw 2 sharks that morning in a wave just swimming by. And so, they're there. You think about it, but I never thought it would happen.
So was this the first time you have ever been bitten by a shark?
Oh yeah. I don't know too many people that bit twice. Somebody said now you got a free pass. Twice is not really in the cards. So it can happen, of course, but so yeah, I kind of had it in my head that that's what it feels like. It's, clamped down quick. It didn't drag me, or didn't, wasn't, big. It was 2 seconds, really. I thought about it, and it was a quick thing.
Do you plan on surfing again?
Yeah.
Why is
I love it. It's a passion of mine. It enhances my life. There are benefits, physical, mental, spiritual, everything. I love seeing the wildlife out there, manatees, dolphins, fish, birds. It's it's a fun experience to ride a wave, and yeah.
Was the water clear that day, or
No, it was very murky. It was murky. I mean, in hindsight, people would say, you don't surf at dusk, you don't surf when it's cloudy or murky or baits, but I look at the waves and the wind. If they're good, I go.
how often do you go surfing?
When the waves are good, I'm out there 2 times a day.
Wow.
If it's a weekend. I mean, and we're after work,
Yeah.
I don't usually go in the morning because I'm not a big morning person. Unless it's on the weekend, I'll get up early and go, but pretty often.
Which beach was it?
This is in Hobe Sound. It's the north end of Jupiter Island. I think technically it's like Nathaniel Reed, Hobe Sound Life Refuge. But we call it the Refuge. It's basically the north end of Jupiter Island.
And you just mentioned that you plan to go out there because surfing is your passion. This event is not stopping you from really going after your passion.
No, I'm sure I'll think a little bit more about it when I'm out there, and I won't forget it. Maybe I'll change my patterns. I don't really know. But at this point, yeah.
How long do you think until you get back out there?
It's going to be a couple months, I think. They want it to seal up, so it's basically waterproof again. And I'm missing the end of my little toe got bitten off. So I think that's probably the worst part. I'm not sure. But there are definitely wounds and openings and cuts. And it's kind of, it's shredded in a bunch of different spots.
So when it happened, did you know right away what it was, or did you go like, what was the sequence there? What happened?
Yeah, it was like, like I said, I felt like I kicked a rock, or I felt something. I don't know if I touched the shark and startled it and then it bit me, or if it saw me, or if I waved my foot in front of it, or how it found me. Yeah, it was pretty quick, so my foot was there, and then I felt a bite, and at that point it was, the pain. It was a brief pain. It wasn't really painful until I got in the ambulance, and which was kind of odd, but it was kind of numb. So yeah, it was kind of kick, bite. Now I got to deal with this.
How far were you from the shore, approximately?
About 100 yards. We weren't that far out. Maybe 150 yards. It was like 4 or 5. It was probably 5 feet. Because I didn't touch the bottom. But like I said, the water was. My foot wasn't on the bottom, and I was this deep. So maybe 5 feet.
What do you think kept you calm?
Maybe that I've played it over in my head. That I kind of have. You know the risks, so you know they're there, and you see them. You hear about other people, friends of mine that have been bitten, and so maybe because I've kind of been through it in a scenario, visualized it maybe.
And I know you mentioned that you've never been bit by a shark before, but have you encountered any other marine life or had any kind of interaction while you were out surfing?
Yeah, lots. See things close by, swim by, bait, lots of bait all the time. I had a tarpon jump like right next to me and it landed on the board. So I have this surfboard, this big break because the tarpon landed on it. So yeah, birds all the time. The whales that were along the beach, I saw the flippers of the whales, and so yeah, you see a lot of wildlife.
So this was your second surf of the day at that
Right.
point. Okay, what type of board were you on?
I was riding a 7.4 board. I like a longer board because I foil board too. So the morning was a foil board session, and the afternoon the waves got a little bit bigger, and it was too big for foiling, for me at least. And so yeah, 7.4 Blue Earth. It was a nice board that I liked. It's stable and fast and catches a lot of waves.
Was that board damaged?
No, I actually haven't looked at it, but I don't think so.
Board maybe goes deposit.
No, I'll still ride it.
And what got you into surfing?
I was a little kid when I loved the ocean my whole life. My dad and mom used to take us to Ocean City, Maryland, and we'd swim and surf, and we had boogie board, all kinds of different water sports. My grandparents lived on the Chesapeake Bay, and so the water's been just a part of my life. So since I was a little kid, but when I got to Florida, I started surfing more in 1986.
Can you describe your passion for surfing?
Can I take a drink of water?
Of course.
So yeah, I'm definitely passionate. It enhances my life. Fits to it, I think, spiritual benefits of just kind of being out there in the ocean, and sometimes it's just, it's wildlife. It's the natural world. It's like hiking in the mountains for some people, or and then physical benefits. It keeps me in really good shape. It's not easy paddling. Sometimes it's huge and messy, and there are all kinds of moods that you encounter in the ocean. And sometimes it's calm and clean and smooth, and so yeah. And mentally, it makes my day go away. If I've had a bad day, I forget everything else. And riding waves are fun.
What's going through your head when you're on the board? Sorry.
When you're riding,
Yeah.
pretty much you're focused on where you're going and the maneuvers you want to do or what the wave's doing. The foil board is really fun. I almost like that better than surfing because I don't know if you guys know, but it's a hydrofoil and you're elevated off the water and the hydrofoil's in the water. So the turns and the smoothness is quiet. There's no sound. So it's just kind of magical. I don't
One, of course, has gone through what you've experienced, surviving that and being able to recover. Has that perhaps given you a new outlook on life?
Probably. It hasn't really occurred to me, but I am grateful to be here, and the results, had things been slightly different, maybe I wouldn't be here. So yeah, I probably will come to me more as time goes by, and I'll feel more grateful. Maybe there'll be some epiphany somewhere along the line where it's wow. But yeah, I'm glad it wasn't worse.
Would you say that you have seen more sharks in Hobe Sound or in that area than in other areas that you've served?
Florida? No, you see them everywhere in Florida. Other areas around the world, I'm not. Some places I don't even see sharks. I travel to surf, and so sometimes you don't see them anywhere.
And do you go to that specific beach at Hobe Sound often? Is that your typical beach?
Yeah, because I live in Hobe Sound, so we cross Bridge Road and we come into Hobe Sound, and we got a stretch there. There are private homes, of course, that are are part of the beach. But yeah, the public beach and the wildlife refuge are pretty common spots for me to go.
So you would say that would be an area of water that you know really well, actually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Can you kind of talk about, what you typically see when you're out there?
Yeah. A lot of times it's nothing. A lot of times we don't see wildlife. We don't see fish or fins or tarpon. A lot of times we'll see tarpon, kind of they roll, and you can tell the difference between a tarpon and a shark because of their fin. So yeah, sometimes it's nothing, but other times, we see everything. Manatees sometimes, which are really cool to see, stuff like that. Bait schools. I like the birds. We see osprey all the time diving for things, and so I like to whistle to them. And that's kind
You feel lucky or unlucky?
I feel lucky. Yeah. Mostly because I know what could have happened. I could have lost my whole foot. And it could have been way worse.
Do you have any recovery concerns?
Yeah, a little bit. My big toe, the tendon's kind of messed up in the big toe. But I'm confident I'll be able to adapt and make it work for me. People have disabilities all the time that they get through.